Okay, we're in Palmetto. This is the Emerson Point Preserve area. This is the Portavant Temple Mound. Archaeologists placed the dating of this back to 1,200 years ago when it was built. They also have estimated that Indians had been using this site, this point. This is the Manatee River over here. The Gulf is just on the other side. For 4,000 years. So this dates way back. I just learned about this yesterday and I thought I'd come check it out. I have to be down here for an event, and I thought this would be really cool. In keeping with having seen so many of the other Indian mounds throughout this area, this was an extraordinarily rich area. Tampa Bay, this whole area is just extremely rich in Indian history for a great many reasons. Obviously, boating, being able to travel by water, being able to get fish, seafood. And that sort of thing. But this is a temple mound. There's three kinds of mounds. You have temple mounds, middens, and burial mounds. Obviously the burial mounds where they got buried, and the middens are where they basically threw their shells, and they consistently threw them in the same places, so they grew accordingly over the century and the millennia. This is overgrown, but the temple mound is where the nobles, the king, chief, whatever designation the Indian would have given their head person and his family, this is where they would have lived. So you can't see it too well on the camera, but this is pretty high up. This is very high up. This is known, according to the research I was able to do so far, as the largest temple mound in the Tampa Bay area, which will make it one of the largest anywhere as far as temple mounds are concerned, at least in southeast or Florida, because this is the safety harbor people, the quote-unquote safety harbor people, inhabited this area, and the Weeden Island people, all these designations of these names that these people are given were all from people who lived in this area on this coast. Basically, this is a very, very, very rich area for life. People would have come here and traded from other places all throughout the southeast and middle part of the United States, what are now the United States. Oh, very cool. There's an original chimney. I didn't expect to see that. And there was a thing over there I didn't read. Oh, very cool. Look at these ruins. Oh my gosh. This is like a double deal here. Rainwater cisterns. So pioneers built their homes on here as well. Then I should go read that thing. I didn't even have any idea about that. Original chimney. That is crazy cool. I expect to find that. Very neat. Well, there's a foundation going on over there. Crazy. So they would have lived. People who lived on these temple mounds would have lived up here because without all these trees, you would have had a really nice breeze, and you could see your enemies coming. Also, it was a status thing, living on top, just same old thing with people living. You know, the head people live on the hill, the lower people live on the bottom. Everything runs downhill, as they say. So this says in 1866, after release from a Union prison, Major Robert Stewart Griffith homesteaded here, built a small wooden house, planted banana and citrus trees. Wow, very neat. Transportation was by water, no bridges. Rode up river to so this is very cool. I had no idea. Very neat. And there are over here. There are some. There's a midden complex, or what could be also lower. The lower nobility. You know, they would have lived here. But as you can see from this this ramp, this thing's pretty extensive. So without all these trees here, and none of these trees would have been here at the time, they would have, all of this would have been totally deforested for use of the wood for fire and building and tools and weapons. This would have been barren of all this. So they would have had an unobstructed view out to the river. And then just around the corner, of course, is the Gulf. It's where the river and the Gulf meet, the Manatee River. And then we're just going to go out here and see this little area here real quick. Oh, so there's a boating place to put in. I had heard you can launch your kayaks, but it's quite a ways to tow your kayak. Very cool. Very cool place. But found out about it, ran into it. I never expected to find a homestead. That's amazing. But I've been to quite a few of these Indian sites. They're all over the place. Some are like this, where they're like Crystal River Archaeological Site, where there was a huge community there, and they haven't the middens and the mounds. That's a temple mound also. Temple mounds are significant because the king would have lived there, and that would have been the center of that group, that civilization of that particular tribe, clan, whatever. That would have been where people would have lived from around these islands and maybe on the other shore or whatever. But they would have all come here and traded and paid homage and all that sort of stuff. And they would have been the ones that would have built that thing for him and his family and his heirs. So here are the smaller ones. This is the midden area, and they tell you there's signs all over the place saying, don't pick up anything, don't take anything away. I'm sure there's shells all over the place here, and these shells would have been from that time period. They would have been from however many years ago. These shells are what make up this hill that we're on. This midden, this is what they did, where they dumped. And then over years, sand and dirt coagulate in here, and you have a basis for tree roots and bushes and such. So, all manner of foliage. But some of the we've actually ran into Indian remains, not human remains, but the middens and such, on private land, in the middle of the woods, places where you just don't expect it. So it's been quite the adventure trying to find all these places, and I've heard of some that are on private land that they won't even let you get into. So I want to end this piece with this crazy cool tree. I don't have any idea what it's called, but it's just super neat, I thought. I'm sure the tree people out there can tell me exactly what it is, but it's got these big beautiful leaves on it, almost like a kapok or something like that. Huge branches, not roots. Crazy neat stuff. Boy, you could have yourself a little shelter going on in there. And this is right on the river too, but again, none of this would have been here. And these Indians have pretty much been extinct since not too long after the Spanish landed and brought their diseases. So Anyway, this is the Portavant Temple Mound. I'm going to call it complex or site because it's more than just a temple mound. This is where people would have lived for miles around here. And this place would have been totally, there would have been huts everywhere. They would have had a place to bury. They obviously have places to dump their trash. And then they had the King's Mound, and he would have been surrounded by, the family and people who were responsible for his safekeeping and that sort of thing. So anyway, Florida Explorer on site. We're out.